Okay, it's recording.
Okay.
Get
Hi.
talk nice and loud and clear.
What's your name?
Frank Femino,
How old are you?
65,
What was your profession?
police officer, City of Medford,
How long did you do that for?
32 years.
What did you do before you became a police officer?
I worked campus police at Tufts University, and I worked 4 years at Raytheon, and I was in the Marine Corps Reserve in 1965. Graduated high school in 64. And I called back to Medford after doing a trainee program for 2 years, and I had to take the civil service exam again, and Medford rehired me. So altogether I had 32 years with them and 7 years with Tufts.
Okay. How long were you in the Marines?
I was in a 6-month reserve program where you go to active duty training for 6 months, and then you stay in the Marines for another 6 years. You're obligated to go in case they're activated. And luckily we're inactivated because Vietnam was going on at the time. And so we had to go 1 weekend a month and stay at a camp. And then 2 weeks every summer we went away and we trained and trained and trained and get prepared to leave if we had to go. So we're always prepared.
What made you join the Marines?
It was something I wanted to do, and it was supposed to be the toughest outfit, so I wanted to see if I could do it.
Nice. What made you become a police officer after that?
A bunch of things, but when I was a kid growing up, it was very easy to go the other way, and I had visited a couple of people that were incarcerated in jails and prisons, and it made me say, I don't think I want to do this. I would rather be a police officer, and that's what I did.
How old were you when you became a cop?
Well, I started 22 years old at the trainee program at Medford for 2 years, and it was a government acted program. They put on police and fire for 2 years. They sent us to the police academy and the fire academy, and then the money ran out and they laid us off, but I didn't get laid off. I went, Tufts University needed a couple of guys up there, a couple of people. They hired myself and a female officer from somewhere else, and I stayed there for 7 years, but I had taken the exam again, and then Medford, they started hiring people, and Medford recalled me, so I went back up there because I had gone to their academy, and I was from Medford, so I was on the top of the list.
You said you were part of the K-9 unit. What is that?
The K-9 division is yourself and a dog. They go to different breeds. They have German Shepherds, Rottweilers, Doberman Pinschers. Usually, with the climate is like down south, a lot of dogs they use down there are short-haired dogs. The dog of the day right now is Belgian Malinois. Okay, it's like a miniature German Shepherd. He only weighs about 60, 65 pounds. Unlike a German Shepherd, who would weigh up to about 85, 90 pounds. He's very, very intense animal. You have to be on your game with this dog. You cannot fool around with this dog or you'll get bit, you'll get hurt, because a lot of these dogs are coming into the United States all trained. When we first started, we trained our own dogs on the fly. We were green guys with green dogs. And we had to do all the training ourselves with these trainers that we had from the different agencies, State Police, Boston Police, and the MDC. And we had a lot of accidents happen. We got bit. Everybody got bit because the dog, you were trying to attempt the dog to do certain things that he was not normal doing. You know, climb ladders, jump over high fences, and jumping in and out of cars. And then when you teach the dog to attack a person, if it's a fleeing felon, someone that you're after. When we have girls with us too, okay, that have dogs, and when you're training a dog to bite, you put on the bite suit, you're the target, you put your dog away, then you're the target, then the other guy that you just did your dog for, he's the target, and everybody has a turn in the suit every day.
So you all got bit?
Huh?
So you all got bit?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you come home with little holes in you and blood blisters and bruises, but that's what you signed up for. You know, it's a lot of fun, and it's very intense, and it's very rewarding. because what you get into this dog, it's like a kid. If you're a teacher, you get out of it. You know what I mean? If you train the dog well, or you teach a child well, the kid's going to be right up there. The dog is the same way.
Where did you say you got the dogs?
Most of them were donations. At the time, it was unheard of to buy a dog. It was all trained because it was something new in the United States. And if people had a dog that was a little too aggressive at home and they didn't want to put up with this dog anymore, we would give them a chance and try him out. My first contact with dogs was down at Camp Lejeune when I was in the Marines. We had a headquarters and support unit, and they brought some dogs back from Vietnam where the handlers were either killed or they were injured and they couldn't work anymore, and they were in hospitals here and there. So they brought the dogs back to the United States to be recycled with another Marine, and a lot of them, it couldn't be done because the dog was with somebody that was probably either injured, and protecting that guy laid on him, you know what I mean, and stayed with him and protected his body, and a lot of them were killed there, you know what I mean, just to try to get to the wounded Marine or to the body, because they didn't want to give it up. That was their partner. So.
What made you go into the K-9 unit?
My love for dogs, and I had a couple of friends that were in the police department a couple of years ahead of me, and they were involved with the K-9, and I used to go up there and watch and participate as much as I could. Get bit a few times, put this bite suit on, you know what I mean, and I was the crazy guy that, well, this guy will do it, he wants to be a cop with a dog, and so he's going to have to go through this. So I stepped up and I sacrificed, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was good. It was a very, very rewarding job.
Did you always want to work with dogs?
Did I what?
Did you always want to work with dogs?
At first I just wanted to become a policeman, but then when I saw the different things you could do with the dogs, I said that was for me, and I tried, and I did it for like 30 years. I had 5 dogs in 30 years, and they were all drug trained and patrol trackers, and they were patrol dogs, and there wasn't a call that we didn't have to go to. We show up, we back up a call. Well, first of all, we're policemen, myself and the dog, so we have to go to every call, no matter what it is. We go just to back up our fellow officers in case something goes bad. Then we're there to help. You know, I'm just a regular policeman, and I just do what I have to do.
What was training like?
Training the dogs?
Yeah.
It's very intense. It's you start your day off in the morning with getting your dog out, bringing them over the jumps, and the activity there was jumping, running, chasing, vaulting the dog, letting them go through tight areas, loosening them up, getting them ready for the day's work. And it was like warming up as if you were an athlete, and this is what you have to do with these animals. You just can't start them right off the bat to do, you know, something that they're going to get hurt on. So they have to be warmed up and ready to go, just like people.
How long do you think like training was, like approximately?
14 weeks just for patrol. Once you're on the street for 6 months to a year, you can go into either drug dogs. You can train your dog to become a drug dog, or a bomb dog, or a cadaver dog, and that's another 14 weeks. So, but you have to prove yourself on the street for 6 months to a year before you can go into a different category beside patrol.
Did you have like different training for becoming a police officer and being in the K-9 unit? Or was it all the same?
It's all the same. You go to, when you become a police officer, you go to the police academy, which is for, there's all men and women there. There's no animals there. And you do your day's work. It's like going to school. And it's usually, it was 10 to 12 weeks, now it's 6 months. You have to go 6 months now, full time. And because there's a lot more to it now. There's computers you have to learn, there's different things you have to know about. It's come a long way, and it's different. It's really different now.
Are there certain tasks you had to perform during training with the dogs?
Well, we did a tracking, which is going from a spot where a suspect was last seen putting the dog down and on a track is getting the scent of the suspect that you're looking for by something he might have left there, or just by a scuff mark on the ground, or whatever the last person that was there, a witness was there, saw that person flee to or from. You start right from there. You start tracking, okay? And the agility is the working out with the dog and getting him prepared every day. You got to do this with him, so he's a top performer every day. You do bite work, okay, with other guys and girls, and everybody puts the suit on, like I said before, and you got to teach them to bite and bring somebody down and hold them. Gunfire, when you have gunfire, the dog goes right after the gun, and searching for a suspect in a building, where you go into the dark with the building with the dog, and you have to check and see if that dog is not afraid of the dark, because people are afraid of the dark sometimes, and sometimes you get a dog that doesn't want to commit himself, you know what I mean? So it's very testy. It used to be trial and error, but now, like I said, what they do is they're buying dogs that are all trained and all ready to go, and all you need is a guy that has a driver's license and knows how to put a leash on a dog and teach him a few words, and off you go. But he still has to go to an academy with that dog to prove himself on the street with that dog.
Was there a separate academy for like the police officers with their dogs?
Yes, that's the K-9 academy that we went to. I've been to 5 of them altogether. Yeah, with the 5. Every one I had to go with a new dog. You have to get back on the street with that dog and make sure that dog is running right by their specifications, whatever academy you go to with the dog. Boston, MDC, State Police, we've done them all, you know. So MBTA has an academy too for dogs.
Okay, what are the K-9 Olympics?
K-9 Olympics is when you and your dog are partners, and you'll do a 2-mile run, and then you do a mile swim with the dog.
You did it with the dog?
Yeah, with the dog, okay, and then you do a mile track, where you're tracking somebody, or after coming right out of the water, you go into a track, and you're on the move again. You go right to an area, you pick up a weapon, and you pick up your tracking stuff, put it on the dog, his harness, and your long leash, and you go right from a scent pad that they put somebody scuffed up on the ground, and you start a track with him. And it takes about 3 or 4 hours to do this whole tracking thing. And we've had 2 girls beat everybody the past 5 years in their dogs.
Wow.
Yep, they made everybody look bad. So it's not all for guys.
Okay, how many times have you been to the K-9 Olympics?
Twice.
Twice. How long were you a police officer?
Altogether 39 years. Campus police in Medford.
Was it difficult working with dogs on the job?
No. No, a lot of it is how good the people are with you that work with you on your shift. They could come into a crime scene and just step all over the place and do this and do that and ruin it for you, you know what I mean? If they become very jealous because you have the dog, some guys, you know what I mean? But you try to explain to them when you first get on the street, you're there to help. You're a police officer with a new tool. The new tool is the K-9. He's a tool. And if you have to send a dog in the line of fire, or to go into a building and there's an armed suspect in there, you're going in with the dog, okay? And you got to get ready to have that dog killed. If need be to get another police officer out of there alive, dog's going down. That's as simple as that. You're gonna cry. It's terrible, but I never had to do it, and I've seen it happen a few times, but it's not real good. You know what I mean? It's terrible because it's your partner. It's your dog. At night he comes home with you. He's like one of your kids. He sleeps in your house, and he's part of the family. So it's not all fun, you know, because you got to stay up with that dog. If he's sick, you got to get him to the vet. You got to groom him. You got to train him, and you got to keep training with him. You got to go at least 1 day a month for retraining and recertification once a year if it's just a patrol dog. And if it's a drug dog or a bomb dog, they have to go back every 2 or 3 months to make sure that they're doing the right thing, because you're putting your trust into that animal. You're putting people in jail. You're taking people's property because of what that dog's centered on. And if he indicated properly, they're under arrest, and we go into court, and the judge and the attorneys, they try to knock you down. But if all your training certificates and everything is done right, and I've never had to perform in front of a judge, or we've had videotapes done of how we do certain tasks, and that would suffice. You wouldn't have to bring a dog into a courtroom. That's only on TV.
When you join the K-9 unit, are you like assigned a certain dog, or do you choose him?
Now, you get what you get. You get a dog that they buy, and no matter what it looks like, you take it because they just paid a lot of money for it. Before, when we did it, we would find stray dogs. We'd go to the dog pound. If that dog looked like he was aggressive enough, if we would take him and say, I'd like to try that dog right there for a few days, you take him to the training area. If that dog passed, he stayed. If he didn't pass, he went back to the training area, or back to the owner, and back to the kennel where they got him. And they would sign a piece of paper saying he did not make it because maybe he wasn't agile enough for the agility course, or maybe he was gun shy. If he is firing of a weapon, he'll take off running instead of going after that noise. And some of them just don't make it. You know what I mean? They get too skittish. And everybody thinks that they have a dog that could be a police dog, but they have to go through a lot. And usually we find out within 3 or 4 days, and then we return the dog to the people who own him, or he goes back to where we got him.
When you were an officer, was it difficult to train the dogs, or did some of them come already trained?
Like I said before, we had to train them ourselves, and we didn't know anything about it, and we had trainers there with us yelling at us all day and telling us to do this, do that, and that's how you did it. It wasn't easy, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was trial and error. You got bit, you screwed up, you stepped on a dog's paw or something, he came around and bit you, or you stepped on his tail. You know, if you're a nervous wreck, you're trying to do the right thing with everything you do when and they're yelling, because next thing you know, you have a dog fight going on. There's 2 dogs going at each other, and you got to keep them separated. You know, and it's not easy. It's a tough assignment. It's tough.
What kinds of crimes did the K-9 units attend
We go to anything. We go to just about anything. You know what I mean? From a domestic assault where somebody hurt somebody in the family and they took off, we can start a track and look for that person. A shooting, a robbery, we can go to just about any call and see if we use that. And if the dog isn't used, I'm a police officer still, and I'm used. You know, I'm another police officer. So, but I drive the car around. I drive the dog. I have the big brain. He's got the little one. So I have to write the reports, and he just sits back there and has a good time.
Earlier you named all the dogs, the breeds you used, but
Yep.
Was there one certain dog that Medford used?
A German Shepherd, most of the time. But right now, with the new handler that we have, they bought a new dog, and it's a Belgian Malinois. It's that smaller dog that I explained before. He's smaller, but he's got a lot of drive to him, and he's not as big and bulky as a Shepherd. Very intense dog, very aggressive dog, very good dog. They use him for everything now. They're taking the place of the Shepherd. They really are. And he looks like a nice little dog, but he's a ball of fire.
Do you guys use those kinds of dogs because they're aggressive?
Yeah, yeah. Very smart dog, very intelligent animal.
Finally, if you had the chance to go back and become a detective, deputy, or any other occupation, would you do it?
Well, my last dog I had was 5 or 6 years ago. When he passed away, I went into detectives for 4 years. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me, sitting behind a computer all day and a desk. And so I went back to patrol my last 2 years. And I drove the paddy wagon, the police wagon for prisoners and stuff, and I was out there with my guys again, and back in uniform. And now I'm 65, so they retired me out at 65. I did 32 years, 65, bye-bye, out the door.
Did you want to retire?
No.
You had to
I
retire?
go back right now. I still have a uniform. It's pretty good shape in my closet at home. And I'd love to go back, but they won't let me because I'm 65.
Is that the age that they make you leave?
Yeah, police and fire officers have to retire at 65. No matter how many years they've had in, that's the time they go. So I had 65 years, I'm 65 and I had 32 years in, and that's it.
Nice.
Nice. How was that?
Perfect.
Was that okay?
Yeah, I have to turn this off.
What?
I don't know where the off button is. Hold on. Yeah, where's the off button?
How does it sound, Rose? Does that sound okay?
It looked good, sounded great.
Yeah.
20 minutes.